Hi folks, this is Tim Garman for SIT on NZDP101, and we're going to now have a look at the selection tools. So at the top of the selection tool panel we have the rectangular marquee tool. Just be aware that when we hold the mouse button down we get some other options. Let's start with the first one, which is a simple click and drag to get a rectangle. If I delete that, which on a Mac is Command D or on a PC is Control D, I believe. Let's do that again. We're going to hold the Shift key down, and that's how we constrain the proportions to get a square. Similarly, with the elliptical version, we can get an ellipse or an oval. And if we want to constrain to get a circle, just hold the Shift key down. The other two options just give us single pixel options, which I don't use very often. Then we've got the lasso tool, which is a freehand selection tool. So basically we're drawing any shape, and wherever we stop, if it's close to where we started, we'll get a join up point. So let's do that again. So we can draw around a shape using that. We've got the polygonal lasso tool, and this is a click and click, and you see we get straight lines, and when we come to the starting point we get a closed shape. So that's useful for drawing around shapes that have straight edges. Next is the magnetic lasso tool, and as you can see, if we click and drag along a line, it will try and follow that line roughly for us. Now that's not done a great job, but as you can see, when we join up at the end we get a shape. Let's just try that again and see if we can pick up on something slightly more accurately. And as I pull the cursor across, it is following the shape that we get on the image. Next we've got the quick selection tool. This is actually quite a useful tool to use, because if we drag across the sky, you see it's automatically jumped across the whole sky and followed the line of the waves, or the horizon line if you like, and it's picking up an element of the image and jumping to that. Now if we use the Option or the Alt key in conjunction with this, I can trim it to bits that it hasn't quite captured, and the more we do this, the more it will also understand what it actually is that we're trying to select. Now you see it's missed this chunk here, so if I now release the Option or the Alt key and go back over that, I can reselect that part. Let's tidy this up as well. So these are still giving us rough selections, which we can go in and edit and refine in more detail, and we'll look at that when we come on to the select and mask video. We've also got the magic wand tool, and this works particularly in conjunction with some of the settings that we see in the options strip, particularly tolerance. Now if I click, you'll notice it selects a number of pixels in the area that I've clicked, and we can dictate how many pixels it selects by adjusting the tolerance. So if I delete that and reduce the tolerance down to say 5, you'll notice it'll select a smaller amount. Let's go down to 1, and it's really just selecting 1 pixel. If we want to select a larger area, we might have to go up to say 60, and that's not selected the whole of the sky. If we want to hold the Shift key down and click again, we'll get a larger area, and obviously that's probably selected too much for us, but again we can go in and adjust the tolerance and redo that. Lastly, we've got the object selection tool, and as you can see, it highlights specific areas that Photoshop thinks you might like to select, and if I click, it gives us that selection. If I click in the sky, it will give us a sky. So those are all of the selection tools. One more we could look at, if we delete this, is the pen tool. Now I'm going to deal with the pen tool specifically in another video, but just to let you know that if I select the first of the pen tools and do a very quick straight edge shape and then go to paths and the menu in the paths palette, we can turn the path that we've created into a selection, and we've got some other options here, but we go OK and we've got that selection. So if I'm clicking and dragging to do a specific shape, I can do the same thing. So there's some of the ways, or most of the ways, that we can create selections, and we can go in and refine all of them.